what I want you to take away from this video is that your body is producing cholesterol when we are under stress, and that is not being addressed, in my clients that I'm working with one-on-one. Then when they're coming from cardiologists, they might be referred to nutritionists to help, sometimes not even that. They might be told to exercise more, but very infrequently is a client coming to me from their primary clinicians when they've been diagnosed with high cholesterol with some sort of a recommendation for practice for the decreasing the psychological internalized stress.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Your Second 50, where I take health science and turn it into practical, personalized, and powerful information so that you can apply it to your daily lifestyle habit patterns and let your life be your medicine. And today I'm delving into a really big topic, and it is about how when we are under stress, and let's be honest, who isn't right now? When we're under stress, our bodies are actually making cholesterol even if our diet is perfect. So if you've gone to the doctor and your cholesterol has taken a big jump up, and you haven't changed your diet in any shape, way, or form, and you're eating very healthy, then this episode is for you. All right, so let's talk about this critical missing piece in the treatment of high cholesterol, and that is how our brains and our stress and how our body reacts to that is actually contributing to high levels of cholesterol. All right, so the way it works is this. When we are stressed, and traditionally we'd be stressed episodically. We'd have to run away from a wild animal or get away from the elements, and then that episode would pass, and then everything's calmed down. But in today's world, we are what's known as chronically stressed. So it's deadlines. It's trying to stay up to date on all the information that we have to in this age of information. It's elder care issues. It's our own health. It's the health of our families. It's red lights on our way to work and when we're late. Our stressors now are more psychological than actual physical, and are more chronic, as in they're going on for an extended period of time, as opposed to acute. And in both those cases, our body is activated by the HPA axis, and what that stands for is the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. And it's basically our stress response axis. And what happens is when that is activated, then we are producing cortisol, all right? Cortisol is a stress hormone, and it's necessary. We don't want to be without cortisol. We just don't want to be at chronic levels. But here's the link to cholesterol. Cholesterol is the precursor to cortisol. It's the material that our body needs to make and manufacture cortisol. So when we are under stress, our bodies, our liver in particular, is getting the message from the HPA axis, or axle, whatever word you want to use there, to actually make cholesterol so that we can make cortisol. And so our own bodies are producing cholesterol to make the cortisol, all right? A lot of my clients don't know that. So they're going after the low-fat diet, or the more informed of them are trying to do the lower high sugar and starchy carb, ultra-processed food carbs diet. And those do have evidence-based ramifications in reversing high cholesterol. However, if we're not addressing the stress piece and how our bodies are responding by producing more cholesterol in order to make the cortisol, then it's almost like you're trying to bail out a boat without plugging in the holes, right? And your body is getting exhausted by doing so, and your cholesterol levels are going up. In particular, your LDLs are going up, and your body actually is getting blocked from producing more of the HDLs. And so it's like the perfect storm for the blood levels that your doctor's looking for to then prescribe pharmacology. All right, so it's so important that we know this, because there are literally lifestyle hacks that we can do that will have more efficacy, more effect on lowering cholesterol, because we're just stopping our body from actually producing it, naturally, as opposed to taking a medication that's stopping our body from producing it, but keeping the drive inside the body, the stress response of needing to produce it, right? So like that's why certain levels of the medication work, and then you need higher dosages and higher dosages. So we want to interrupt that whole cycle and honestly prevent you from even having to get on those medications, or if you're on them, using lifestyle hacks that I'm going to go into right now as a combination approach to maybe keep you at the lowest dosages or maybe even get off them. So let's talk about what you can do from a lifestyle as medicine, perspective to lower your cholesterol by lowering your stress. So the first kind of grouping of things that I'm going to talk about is breathing. So when we are under stress, we have big inhales and shorter exhales. So we can actually down throttle the stress response, i.e. then the making of cholesterol, by doing breathing in the opposite. When we are calm and relaxed, we actually have a longer exhale and a shorter inhale. So if you Google or go on an AI generated app, you're going to find a variety of relaxation breathing techniques. The one that I like to teach my clients is to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, and then to breathe out as long as you possibly can, not a big forced exhale, but almost like you're blowing up a balloon through your mouth. So you're breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. And there's counts, box breathing, 4, 8, 4, 6. The point is you want your exhale to be longer than the inhale, because that is the breathing pattern that goes with relaxation. So you're actually turning on the relaxation response in your brain and then down regulating the need for cortisol and therefore the need to produce cholesterol to make the cortisol. When you have tried all the programs and done all the right things, and yet you still can't lose the weight that you are trying to lose, and you're a male or female over 50, now is the time for you to look into my program, Your Second 50.life. It includes online video support. You can download video and PDFs for an eating plan and exercise plan appropriate for over 50. It includes group support on a monthly basis, and perhaps even more importantly, it includes weekly individualized coaching specific to you. Having the generalized plan is a good thing. I have helped literally thousands of people to lose weight over the 43 years I've been in practice, and I'd like to help you too. So really important, that breathing. And you can do that breathing anywhere. You can do it driving your car. You can do it in the middle of a stressful meeting. You can do it, by going to the bathroom and taking a couple deep exhales when you're in a stressful situation with family out to dinner. Like it is applied anywhere. You can do it in the middle of a fight, standing and facing somebody that you're in an argument with, just to calm yourself down. And honestly, when someone watches you do that, they calm down too. So that breathing, highly valuable and applicable everywhere. Along the same lines, Tai Chi, yoga, but these are things that you actually have to go to a class or actually sculpt out some time on a mat to be able to do the postures and the practice. So those are important. I would build that in if I have a chronically high stress kind of life going on, but that's a little bit less immediately available than the breathing techniques, which is why I teach the breathing techniques first. All right. So any calming thing, a walk in nature, where you're breathing in the air, you're getting the sunlight on your skin, a calming kind of effect. If you can go to an ocean, this perspective where there's this large body of water, that's bringing perspective in for your issues going on and calms you down. If you live in a mountainous kind of area, looking at the mountains, something expansive and larger than you, so that you're helping to keep perspective on whatever's going on in your life to calm down your nervous system. These are all very, very highly and easily applicable, hacks for that. All right, next one is sleep. I can't underscore enough how sleep and getting sleep is going to be a counterbalance to your body staying in a crisis situation chronically, having to produce more cholesterol, and then therefore, for the making of cortisol. So getting enough sleep, sculpting that out. And if you are waking up in the middle and interrupting the deeper stages of sleep because you've got what I call busy mind, stressful mind, then there are several things that you can do. Tart cherry juice and ashwagandha taken at night are both have been found to help to mitigate the cortisol. And there are other things that you can take if you Google and research adaptogens that are helpful in reducing the level of cortisol, which is spilling at too high of a level for my clients who are very, having sleep difficulty. And that would go hand in hand with being chronically stressed, which would go hand in hand with now being diagnosed with high cholesterol. So getting in that sleep, highly, highly important. All right, now, what can you take into your body that can also, help to mitigate this stress cascade? Eating foods that are high in omega-3s. They are very good for brain health and anti-inflammation. So what foods are high in omega-3s? Walnuts, your fatty fishes like salmon and trout and sardines and mackerel, flaxseed, ground flaxseed. You can sprinkle that on everything from a salad into using that into a mix for breading, along with breadcrumbs for any, chicken or fish that you might be making. So high omega-3 foods, high fiber foods in general. So that's your whole food sources of fruits, vegetables, and grains. These are things that we can take in and make sure we're taking in to replace, the grab and go things when we're under stress, the highly processed foods, UPFs, which are adding insult to injury if we're having a high cholesterol issue and under high stress. Movement, exercise, like that's one of the ones I've used my whole life to mitigate stress. And one of the reasons why I probably don't have any issues with high cholesterol or heart disease from a lifestyle perspective. But here's the thing with the exercise. If you do too much high intensity for too frequently or too high in one bout, too frequently in a week, that's a stress-induced state for your body, and you're adding the need for your body to have to produce cortisol, a high level of cortisol, and then need higher cholesterol to make that cortisol. So if you're really hyper stressed in your everyday life for whatever the reasons, then I would tell you, yes, use your exercise, but stay in that steady state, comfortable heart rate. If you're in a cardio situation, you're breathing, with your mouth open, you're breathing deeply, but not breathless, because that would add, wait till things calm down for you. You've figured out whoever your elder care issue is, better state of health. The crisis state is over. The deadline at work is now passed. Whatever, so that then you can pepper in higher intensity, workouts, but not when you're really, really stressed. You want more of the moderate, sustained, type of workouts when you're stressed, just to control for that cortisol. All right. So these are my lifestyle hacks, but I can't, like I said, underscore enough how what I want you to take away from this video is that your body is producing cholesterol when we are under stress. And that is not being addressed, in my clients that I'm working with one-on-one. Then when they're coming from cardiologists, they might be referred to nutritionists to help. Sometimes not even that. They might be told to exercise more, but very infrequently is a client coming to me from their primary clinicians when they've been diagnosed with high cholesterol with some sort of a recommendation for practice for the decreasing the psychological internalized stress. All right, and it's a critical, maybe the most critical part of your self-care for this. And I want to add one more thing here. Many of the clients that I talk to will tell me that no, they're not that stressed. They're very good at keeping that balanced. But I would present to you that if a lot of people who say that to me, because I have a psychology master's degree background, and I will tell you that a lot of clients who say that they are internalizing stress. And then therefore these mechanisms that I just described are operating at an even higher level, even though on the outside they might have a very complacent kind of exterior. So be mindful of that as well. That's very important. And what I'd say to you is everybody needs to be building in these internal psychological stress reducers as part of their everyday healthcare. All right, part of your lifestyle as medicine. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. If you find that I gave you some interesting information that you did not know, please, think about joining my subscription community, yoursecond50.life, where I am giving group coaching for everything related to optimizing your life past 50 for men and women. But also, in addition to the group information, I am highly individualizing it, working one-on-one with the clients as well. So take a look at that. And in the meantime, stay calm, build in your practices for maintaining low cholesterol and lower, stress management techniques. And I hope to see you on another video of mine real soon.
And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.